How's it growing, plant heroes? Today we're going to do a little DIY project using some air plants. You can actually see one of the ones I've done behind me, and a little driftwood from the San Francisco flower market. And this is something easy that you can do at your home and add a little green to your walls and spice up your life. So let's get right into it. But if you find this fun, useful, entertaining in any way, drop some fertilizer on that like button. Be sure to click the bell when you subscribe so you can stay tuned for all of our future plant fun. But to no more ado, let's get into it. So we're starting today with these pieces of driftwood. And then over here, we've got the air plants. And I'm using a little bit of this sphagnum moss. It's actually Spanish moss. The sphagnum moss might be not what I want to work with exactly. And then to tie it all together, I'll be using this copper wire and these white screw-in hooks. Okay, so a top-down view for you and see what we can see. Okay, so what we want to do here is get two of these air plants affixed onto here. So first I'm going to find a good spot to kind of nuzzle it in using the wood a little bit to, you know, maybe find a spot where it can fit best. And then I'm going to take the copper wire, probably about a foot length of it, so that I have, you know, some extra room and you can always trim it. And you want to kind of find some grooves in the air plant leaves, and, you know, towards the bottom, not really in the middle, because then you'll see the wire, but you want to kind of lasso it a little bit, and then you find somewhere on the wood to kind of attach it to. So maybe I'll go around again. And we're going to hide all this with the moss, so you can be a little bit liberal with how you do this, but that should be good. And then wherever you want the back of it to be, you're just going to twist tie it off, and it should stay relatively sturdy. Looking good. So it's fine. Give it a little cut. This copper wire is very thin, so the pruners should be fine. You don't need wire cutters or anything. And then that is on there. Let's get this other one on here. Find a good spot. If you're gonna make multiple, sometimes it's nice to not make them all 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So this one I actually am gonna leave some wood over here, and kind of like them both on this side. So let's get another foot of wire. Do another lasso. Good to get some wood that has knots in it and different types of grain and stuff. And then to finish it off, you want both wires to be going around opposite directions so that when you twist it, they have some tension. And you just want to pull it tight and give it maybe 2 or 3 twists is honestly fine. snip it. Now you got both of them on there. Show you what we're working with. And then the next step is going to be to take some of the moss. Okay, got some moss. You don't need all of it, but let's just separate it, keep it a little stringy. And you can actually kind of use the air plant to tuck the moss in towards the very bottom, wrap it around. Wrap it around and kind of press it in. Keep wrapping. And the air plant should actually kind of keep most of it in. Tuck some more. You could trim off any excess or just tuck it in also. So there's one. Let's get the other one on there. And what I like to do with the moss is kind of make a, long, slender sort of pool noodle sort of shape, hot dog, whatever you want to call it. That way you can kind of feed one side in and then wrap and then join them. Okay, and I mentioned, any excess you could trim if you wanted to, like that. But it's nice to give them a little wild sort of look. Plants aren't supposed to look perfect, symmetrical, yada, yada, yada. And then you want to envision how it's going to hang. So eventually I'll have a single strand of wire going like that for hanging purposes. But I'll probably use 2 of the screws, 1, 2, here and here. And we will attach those right now. And then we can run the wire. So this wood is actually really easy to work with because it's already got some spots in it where you can just screw this guy right in. No tools required. So let's get that one in there. And then I'm going to leave the hooks pointing outward so that the wire doesn't come loose from them. That looks good. Get this screwed in. And these hooks are nice because you can just do it by hand. Pretty easy. So now they're both pointing in opposite directions. Go ahead and grab another strand of wire. And this time I'm going to wait to cut it to figure out exactly how much I need. But we'll start on one end, do a couple twist sort of braids so that it holds strong. I might do 5 or 6 this time, but the weight of this should definitely be held up by the wire. And then I'm going to run it to, remember this is the back, run it to the other one and pull it as tight as I can, because ideally we hide this so you don't see it hanging. And then I'm going to give myself some room before I cut. And then you just kind of thread it back and forth a couple times. And voila. So now, if I was to hang this on the wall, it would probably hang, right about there. And the knots of the wood will help it kind of, or the branches will help it kind of stay on the wall where you hang it. So let's get it hung up and we can show you what we did. The knots of the wood will help kind of keep it sturdy on the wall. So let's get it hung up and show you what we did. Okay, and for hanging, we just have a normal screw here with a little bit of a head on it to keep the wire. But just like a normal picture, you can see the wire back here. We will hang it up there, find the spot, and then you kind of adjust to figure out where the weight balance is. And if you have any pieces you want to kind of fix, sometimes you can see some of the wire you used, and in that case you could just kind of tuck some more moss in there, but that'll do it. So now we have this one with the two on one side, and then this one with two on the other side, kind of balance it out. And for the job that we're working on, we're gonna do two more. They would all kind of stack on top of each other. This is for a yoga studio in Mill Valley, so maybe we can tack some pictures of the final product on. If you find this useful, drop some fertilizer on that like button. If you want to see any DIY projects with plants, I am more than happy to make anything happen for you and explain how I did. And be sure to click that subscribe button and the bell so you can be notified when I post future awesome videos. Take care, everyone.